we really enjoy delving into and working with archives and finding stories that are perhaps underrepresented. I'm an architect from Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm principal of the architectural studio Counterspace. Counterspace was born out of a desire to find design form and design expression for our city, Johannesburg. And since our formation, we have really found that this lens from Johannesburg is relevant for many, many other places. And our practice has a very specific research-led approach. So working with architecture as a medium to really tell stories and highlight aspects of our history and of our place that are perhaps being overlooked. So for our installation in Bruges, we also wanted to think about these relationships between territories. We wanted to think about ideas of belonging and about working with traces that are in the city to highlight specific stories. And we started to notice these remnants of Bruges as an industrial port city hub, and we could see that there were hoisting cranes on some of the facades, tapestries that had pigments and dyes that were imported from elsewhere, mustard pots as well. And these became really interesting for us because they're small objects or remnants, but they really reference territories that are afar, and they speak to a relationship of Bruges, this beautiful little town, with the African continent. And we started to find that around the time of the boom of the spice trade, when spices were really considered to be the gold, so to speak, of the trade world, there were many, many spices that were imported from the African continent, from Nigeria, from Guinea, from several places, and these contributed to the formation of recipes. They contributed to the cementing of Bruges and of the region within that spice trade. And we wanted to think about how to highlight this relationship. The work is called Grains of Paradise, and there was a very specific species of pepper that was called the grain of paradise because of its cost at the time. People also say because of its very particular taste. And our installation is made up of a series of boats made in the image of these wooden boats that come from the African continent, each of them a slightly different shape, referencing the different regions that the spices will have come from. And they're meant to create an installation that for us is an expression of the movement of these goods. They're also planted with flowers and with spices. And we really enjoyed this notion that that seeds were being brought from afar to a different place. Of course, seeds also carry with them metaphors of diaspora, of beings that move from one place to settle in another. Of course, the story about the trade is known, but we wanted to highlight specifically the knowledge exchange that is possible to occur between places, the exchange of resource and so on. And there is also a relationship between this project and a project that we have in Vilvoorde, where we're working on a bridge. This bridge takes the form of a series of conjoined boats as well. Each of them is also planted with species, but this time species that come from Paul Panda Fanana's horticultural research. And Fanana was somebody who lived and worked in Vilvoorde. He was the first person to study from the Congo, to study in Belgium. And he studied horticulture in the town. And this bridge is really an homage to him.